My profane friends, definitely 100% watch Kathy O'Brien, especially the MK Ultra horror story, because it adds in the gang stalking element, where they get into your communities. Well, they're in your communities, you know what I mean? They're your police, social services, court officials, judges, ushers, all of that. I've got all that on evidence anyway myself within my own town in the research, and their connection to the minster here, the main church, all sorts. I've been researching this a very, very long time. But look at how the Freemasons, again, associated with paedophilia. I don't know if I should say that because that will likely get me banned off Freemason YouTube, but who knows, you know what I mean? I don't know what they call them, a lot of PDF file or whatever. And again, it's always the fathers, and it's all go back generational. Do you know what I mean? There's like I said, the missing link and keys I've got in videos anyway. But listen to what she says.
Yeah, my father had been sexualized and raped as a child. He was also ritually abused. My mother was also sexually assaulted and raped as a child, and she was prostituted to my grandfather's Blue Masonic Lodge. These Masonic lodges, these secret societies, are where secrets on mind control are kept. Again, knowledge is our defense, but they've been operating on this secret knowledge equals power attitude for a long time. So that's why these secret societies place people in key positions in communities and politics and judges, in positions of influence. It's very deliberately done in order to perpetuate their ultimate agenda of control. So by the time I was born into this multi-generational sexual rape family, my father's rape of me began in infancy, before I could even think to know what he was doing was wrong. But my brain knew it was wrong, because that's how our brain...
And in a minute, I'm going to show you another story that I picked up on today, where this wife or mother, she was a daughter of a Freemason, of course, and he was sexually abusing her, and he told her, that he used to get her to, because, a child liked to suck dummies, yeah, so he got her to do that to him, you know what I mean? He told it and bragged about it, blah, blah, blah. But I'll show you a little bit of that clip as well, just after Kathy O'Brien finishes. And what was my other point of this? And I'll show you the master grip of a Freemason, right? Yeah, which is the lion's paw, but they're trained in NLP, yeah, and hypnosis, how to hypnosis people. I'll show you a video set I've got, yeah. I don't think I can reach it from this point here, but I'll show you it. And again, it shows you how they use handshakes, yeah, and NLP, because like I said, Masonic lodges are just like Hogwarts. They learned how to mix chemicals, how to do hypnosis, all that mind stuff. Do you know what I mean? Maths, arithmetic, geometry, all of that they learn as they go up through the ranks of Freemasonry, especially the 3, 5, 7 levels. Do you know what I mean? Which are the hidden chambers of Freemasonry. You see the 5 hidden chambers. So yeah, you've got the 5 hidden chambers, I think, and then you've got the 7. I ain't too sure. I can't remember now, but it's 3, 5, 7. Yeah, that's the 3, 5, 7 steps. You know what I mean? And that's working from Master Mason is the first 3 steps, and then you go into the hidden chambers, which are the 5 steps, and then you've got the 7 steps. You see, there's always steps, and with them steps come a grip and a password. But anyway, this is not the thingy, but I'll show you that at the end of the video if I can.
Respond to trauma. This information on our mind-brain function has been buried under national security ever since the beginning of the National Security Act. They were suppressing the information on our defense against mind control, and that is knowledge, pertinent knowledge on our own mind brain function. Well, my brain was shutting down neuron pathways around the trauma, repressing it deep into the subconscious so the rest of the mind could develop and function normally. This is called the mind's sane defense to trauma too horrible to comprehend. There was no comprehension of that abuse. And even though I didn't know it was wrong, I was just an infant, my brain knew that I was enduring pain and suffocation. And so it shut down those neuron pathways. My father's rape extended into child pornography, more neuron pathways shut down. It extended into prostituting me to my grandfather's blue Masonic lodge, more neuron pathways shut down. As all these neuron pathways are shutting down, I was losing conscious awareness, critical analysis, free thought. If we don't have our conscious mind focus filter over our subconscious, the subconscious mind just takes information in.
I could mention some things that have happened to me, but obviously I've got them in other videos. Yeah, some of the like the street theatre they do. They used to pop balloons behind me, so I think it was someone trying to shoot me. Now I'm I don't bother. Fuck it. You know what I mean? I know all their Jedi mind tricks. Do you know what I mean? If someone's going to shoot me, they're going to shoot me. There's nothing you can do about it. They're going to kill you. They're going to kill you. And it comes from the orders of the Masonic Lodge and my gang stalkers. You know what I mean? I got them talking about me killing me and fucking all the rest of it, putting me away for 30 months, blah, blah, blah. But like I said, if it happens, then when the people are sitting there in the cells looking at life, and conspiracy to murder, you know what I mean, with their heads in their hands going shit, that's when they start grassing each other up left, right and centre, because then there's no brotherhood, there's no friends, because they're going to spend the rest of their lives in jail. And they were grassing each other up even for the drugs they were selling in this town. Do you know what I mean? So, like I said, I've used their own tools against them. But yeah, like I said, they used to follow me all the time, everywhere. It doesn't matter where I went, because I used GPS, and used to use trackers, like one time I went down to, I can't remember where, Western Superman, I believe, and like the guy took the phone for, it's taped to the bottom of my motorhome. Do you know what I mean? But he did mess up there and fail, but that's another story. Like I said, I've been doing this for fucking years. Do you know what I mean? Just gathering evidence. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, if I sat around the table with my gang stalkers, all it would be gypsy G travellers, perverts, rapists and nonces. Do you know what I mean? That have raped their own children, fucking all sorts of some have been with their own pets. Do you know what I mean? That's how bad it is, molesting their own pets or beating their pets up and breaking their fucking bones. But that's another story. But they know, I'm talking about it now, but they know. Do you know what I mean? The ones who know, and they're going sitting there, I don't care, come and front me, let's get it out in the open, but they won't, because they sit there, they're like crickets, you know what I mean? When you go out in the open, they go, when they're behind your back, as soon as you front them, they're like, there's nothing. Do you see what I mean? And they ain't going to step forward, because like I said, all what would be around that table would be a bunch of perverts that call themselves businessmen in this fucking town. You know what I mean? When they're not, they're just drug dealing scumbags. Do you know what I mean? That have killed a lot of people in this town. Mums, fathers, dads, sons, blah blah blah, daughters. Anyway, before I go flying off track, I just thought I'd add that in, do you know what I mean? But like I said, they use these street theatres on me. Like another time I'm in a queue, this was in Edinburgh, I believe. Again, it's always junkies or fucking people associated with drugs, do you know what I mean? And they were talking behind me in the queue, do you know what I mean? Again, I can't say too much about it, but they're going, yeah, wait till we get the kids away from him, then they're going to fucking kill him, do you know what I mean? Again, street theatre, so I overhear it, do you know what I mean? So it looks like, I'm going to lose my kids, do you know what I mean? Once they get me with the kids, then I'm going to, they're going to kill me then, you know what I mean? But I remember, there's other things I remember, so many things. I remember sitting in another pub of mine, what is that, the favourite one? I can't remember, you know what I mean? Another, just different instances all the time over the years that have happened. And I've connected it, and obviously for the last 20-30 years maybe I've used different things to catch people out, do you know what I mean? and I'll show them tools, you know what I mean? I've got, I mean, all in it's all in videos, do you know what I mean? But like I said, she's talking about the world events, yeah, but it's not the world. Your world is your town, your world is your city, yeah, and the people running that world, yeah, your town and city, are working for the global thing, if you want to call it a globe or whatever, across the world, yeah, do you see what I mean? In every town and city, they're working for that global event, you know, and each, like I said, each village answers up to the town, every town answers up to the cities then answer up to the state, or the state or the county, you know what I mean? And then them states and counties then get together, and then they up, you know, they answer to that country, and then all countries answer up whoever's God knows what, do you know what I mean? But that's how it works. But your world, what you live in now, like if something goes off in Chicago, I can't do nothing about that. I can't do nothing what goes off in New York, you know, Mississippi, Alabama, you know what I mean? I can't do anything that goes off in Moscow, do you see what I mean? Or, you know, in the Ukraine, Poland, you know, it doesn't matter where it is. I can't do nothing, but I can do something about my own town, yeah? And, you know, there's people about, I'll just put it that way, that are trying to do something, are going to do something about the scumbag families that run this town. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what it is. It's families with heraldry that go back centuries and decades, and they've done funny handshakes. We'll win this battle for you, but we'll have this land, we'll look after it for you, and we'll pay our taxes to you. Do you know what I mean? But we'll do what we fucking want. Do you know what I mean? We'll sell drugs for thousands of years. You know, our family, it don't matter. And all they keep doing, the trick is that you arrest one person and you go, oh, we've caught him, that's done. No, it's not one person. It's whole groups of families, yeah, that are doing it. And you need to, you know, the simple thing is arrest the whole family. Do you know what I mean? Families need to be arrested. Prisons need to be made for families. Do you know what I mean? And the whole family, if they're into sinister shit, just needs to be all arrested. Do you see what I mean? Yeah, because then that way it stops it. Do you know what I mean? Then you need to, you know, like say police in the streets. Yeah, you got to say someone who's on drugs. Yeah. Right, if you're not clean, yeah, we're going to test you. If you're not clean, we're going to give you a month in jail. Do you know what I mean? And we'll keep you in jail until you know, you piss positive. Do you know what I mean? And that's how it goes all the time. Do you know what I mean? You're on the street and you don't piss positive, we're going to put you away for a month. Do you know what I mean? And then when you're in jail, if you can't piss positive, you don't get out of jail. Do you see what I mean? And that's the sort of systems you've got to run, you know, because then it's their choice. Do you know what I mean? You know, you want to stay in jail all your life, then fucking do the drugs. Do you know what I mean? Blah blah blah. But the money, like I said, the drugs in the jail are controlled by the people on the outside. Do you see what I mean? And this is where you got to, you know, there's no law as such to stop them at all. You know, they run the pubs, the clubs, and they've done it for fucking the last, say, 30 years. And what has happened? Nothing. What the police said? Nothing. They worked with them because it's the same agenda. Masonic aprons hidden in plain right. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, let's go on, listen.
And then that drives our thoughts and ultimately our actions. That's what mind control is about. Because without free thought, there's no free will. If we don't have free will, we don't have our soul expression. Without soul expression, we don't have compassion for each other. We don't have discernment of truth. We don't have the capacity to stand against this assault on our humanity that's been going on my whole life. It stops us from gathering that strength of the human spirit and the infinite power of love in so many ways. This is then a spiritual battle, but it's one that we win as soon as we remember who we are and why we're here. Well, as a little infant, I didn't have any defenses at all. And when my father was caught sending child pornography of me through the U.S. mails, he was approached by a local politician that had been raping me ever since I was a little bitty toddler from my grandfather's Blue Masonic Lodge.
Kathy, can I just say one thing real quick, just so YouTube doesn't shut us down? For that thing that your father's creating, can we just call it CP? Child per CP, if we can just call it CP.
Okay, I'm not sure what word we're supposed to.
The videos, the child videos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just if we could just call it child videos or CP. Okay. Yeah, CP. Sure. Yeah.
Sure. Thanks, okay. Thanks. So when this local politician was Gerald Ford, who went on to become the unelected president of the United States, as his political career escalated, so too did my victimization and MK Ultra mind control. So then from that point on, I was taken to various DARPA, NASA, and military installations for sophisticated strategic programming. And my father's immunity from prosecution was rewarded with lucrative military contracts. I think that we should consider that this erosion of justice has been going on my whole life, and it has allowed for the rape of children to go on for the purposes of creating this compliant society. So we got a long way to go to unravel this mess, but at least now people are awake and aware. They're opening their eyes to embrace the reality of it and to realize that we can't wait on big government to fix our problems for us. It's up to each and every one of us. We all need to wake up, expand our thinking, remember who we are and why we're here, and start taking positive action right where we are. It's up to us.
And that's it. It's up to us within every town and city to start doing our thing, which I've been doing anyway. But that's it. And what you'll find when you get down to the nitty gritty is just certain families. Yeah, like I've explained before in videos, I'm the King of England. Who can I get? Or I'm the King of America, whatever, it doesn't fucking matter, right? Washington, you know what I mean? So who can I send to, each state to look after that state? Well, there's people who I trust, my family members, do you see what I mean? And in each state, they have a king, and they call themselves a king, but each king answers up to me, do you see what I mean? Our top family, do you see what I mean? And it's just like a Game of Thrones, do you see what I mean? And that's how it works, I'm the King of England, I'm going to send someone to Norfolk, I'll send my sister to Suffolk, I'll send my other brother to Essex, I'll send do you see what I mean? And that's all it is, and my cousins to this state and that state, and they're the overall rulers, and then their children, then look after the town, the cities then look after the towns, and then, you know what I mean? And they look after the infrastructure, they're guaranteed to get a shop. They're guaranteed to get a business. Do you know what I mean? They are the ones getting the businesses. If you do the research, do you know what I mean? All Masonic lodges, all their sons and all the rest of it are all getting the best houses, the best council houses, you know what I mean? All the best rights to buy, you know what I mean? But people don't investigate it or look at it. Do you know what I mean? They just go, oh, it's hard luck, we're hard luck. No, it's not. It's not luck. It's not luck. It's them doing the agenda, of keeping all the profane out of fucking businesses, and getting anywhere where they can get money or raise themselves above that slave labor elevation. Do you know what I mean? So that's why they do it, and they keep us in that slavery element, because it doesn't benefit them for us to have any power. Do you know what I mean? So they keep us, and they gang stalk us, and that's what they do. They it's a community thing, and they get other profane people to do it and help them. Do you know what I mean? Rumour monger, do anything what it is. They try and take your job. I've helped so many people, where they try to get the people out of a job so their friends can have the job. Do you know what I mean? Things like that, or get someone out of a council house, so they can take over that council house. You know what I mean? Their brotherhood. You know what I mean? No one else. Nothing's that. So many stories I could give you. Do you know what I mean? Just what I've investigated in my town personally. The manoeuvres and the sickness that they've done to different people over the the decades, and no one has a clue that they've done it. That's the point of it. Do you know what I mean? Obviously some obviously do. Because we're not fucking stupid anymore. And we see it. But a lot of people don't. They think, oh, it's hard luck. Oh, how did that happen? How did this judge, vote for them when, do you know what I mean? No, it's freak masonry. It's all manipulation, and that's why things get hidden up. And you can't expect these people, these elitists running the town, to fucking do anything for you, because they won't, you know what I mean? Because that's not the agenda or the program that is in place. For years they've got away with running all the businesses, handing it down, willing it down. Look in your town at the most respected hotels, the most respected pubs and clubs, the most respected places where people go, and do you honestly think someone working in a factory is ever going to buy them out or take that away from them? No, that's the point of it. Do you see what I mean? You can't be allowed to do that. Do you see what I mean? You can run you can run your own business like window cleaning or you'll get the I don't want to mention some of the favourites I see, but that's another story. But you can run businesses, but you're running that business and you're paying them, you're benefiting them. No other reason. Do you know what I mean? But like I said, so long as you're stacking shelves in Asda, Tesco's and all the rest of it, they're happy as Larry Lamb, you know what I mean? But they're keeping you so occupied and distracted with your jobs, in time you get on with your kids and all the rest of it. They know you're not thinking about them, but they're sitting in their lodges going, what the fuck's, who's the problem, who's this, who's that, and they're actually taking meetings on you. The amount of meetings they've had on me, you know what I mean, is astronomical. That's another story. But yeah, here we go. I think that's that. And then I'll show you the guy who's hypnotizing, with a Masonic grip of a master mason, how they can quick and easily hypnotize you. And the other one with the rape of this this lady. Listen,
all right, let me just give a little summary then. So Kathy's been giving the background of the generational trauma in her.
Well, anyway, I'll leave it there because you can watch the video yourself, but as like I said, her dad's a freak mason, comes into money, and then it all goes in it's either the police or the navy or the army or whatever. They control all them higher echelons, do you know what I mean? And that's how they, like say the police, like I said before, you get 15 coppers here, drag me out, they go, you're under arrest. They just go around knocking on doors, go, oh, he's been arrested for this. Whatever they say, it don't matter. Everyone will fucking believe it, and then they stuck me in the jail for 15 years. Who's going to question that? By the time I come out, everyone's moved or gone. Who gives a fuck anyway? They've been getting on with their lives. You see what I mean? And that's how they do it. You know what I mean? As simple as that, but they don't, they can't just do that, obviously, because I've got family, blah, blah, and people speak out, but that they can set you up to do that. They set you up with different things, like you'll have someone come around your house and they'll plant drugs in your house. Do you know what I mean? Or, all of that sort of caper they do, and set people up to put them away, because once you're in their prisons, they run them prisons. Do you know what I mean? Again, you get slashed, boiling water, pool, sugar water, fucking all sorts they can do to, demoralize you, people shouting out the window going, oh, he's dead, he's this, he's that, just to make you paranoid. Do you know what I mean? And all them little mind games, so your mind's constantly fucking under fight or flight, you know what I mean? And it makes yourself sick, you know what I mean? But if you don't know what them tricks are, that fucks you up, do you know what I mean? But that's another story. But I'll leave that there, Kathy O'Brien, and I'll just show you the master grip of a freak mason. Now let me just go down here. Where am I? Hey, there I am.
You scum! Anyway, my profane friends, that's what
that was me talking to a freak mason. Look that up. The London Eye. Let me just get my glasses. Now, go down here, scroll down my videos, on Stuart Shushed Up. Stuart Shushed Macintosh. Scroll down, and go to this guy here, right? Where is he? Yeah, he's near coming up. There he is, look. The Masonic true grip of a master mason, They hypnotised this geezer. He believed, right, and hopefully I can... Masonic, the magic plink show, the Masonic magic. And what they do that, do you know what I mean? They're not doing, what do you think they're just doing when you go to the pub, but the pubs are all... And then they put him in this valley, right? I'll just turn it down a bit. They put him in this valley, right? And he believes he's been hypnotised and put on a planet, right? His mate set him up for it, right? Now, they've done that just by hypnotising him with a little grip, all right? And this is what freak masons do. No, like you're married to a... You'll have to watch my video to understand it. But there he is, look. I'll show you the grip where he does it and put him to sleep, look. And this is how quick the freak masons do it. They put him in one of them, what Michael Jackson used to go into, one of them tubes or whatever, you know what I mean? They stick him in one of them, you know what I mean? Look, watch how quick he puts him under hypnosis. And this is what they do, NLP, freak masons learn this in the lodge. And this is why a lot of people who are raped by them can't have a memory of it, because they back that up with drugs, obviously, but they do it like this. Phone for you.
Yeah. Hello? Yes?
Harold, yes? Oh, it's my Freemason mate, my freak mason mate on the other phone. Hey. Sleep now. And there he is. He just put me to sleep again. See, and they just put him asleep on the phone because he's got a trigger word, yeah, on that phone. You see what I mean? And this is what they do to women, children, and anyone. It doesn't matter who is. Again, I got hypnotized in the jail, right, by some. I can't mention too much, right, but he was famous. Yeah, he was. His crime was he got a rich duchess or whatever she was. Yeah, you know, one of the Lord's Dukes or Earls' daughter. Yeah, daughter, and he was hypnotizing her. Yeah, and using her to, you know, gain money and benefits and raising up through the fucking ranks of the aristocracy. Yeah, he got caught out anyway. Yeah, in a raid, and then they put him, you know, put him away. But they used him in the jail to fucking hypnotize me and try and trick me up with like you know, like a what they call that, like you know, one of these words. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, but obviously I sussed it and fucking and like went into one sort of thing, and he moved out of my cell. Yeah, but he was trying to, you know, and they would do like because obviously again they control the prison, right, and they were doing it like fuck, mate, and I was like shit, and I didn't even know what was going on to begin with. Yeah, and it was only when I found out what he was in for, blah blah blah, that I sussed what he was doing to me. He was actually NLPing me. Yeah, to fucking, like, you know, they were like setting the bells off, you know, so I'd think there was a riot and then I'd get stabbed because that's like a distractional thing, things like that, you know. He's planting all them sort of seeds in my mind, yeah, and fucking me right up he was, you know, but I sussed it, and, you know, that's all another story, but I got that in videos anyway, you know. This is part of what the freak masons do. But there you just see it, yeah, how he put you know, first of all he put him under just by handshakes, and now he's put him under just by having a telephone conversation. So you imagine that freak mason. And I'm not talking about one freak mason around you, yeah, I'm talking about women as well, yeah. They know NLP, yeah, and they can they keep resetting you. Do you see what I mean? So if you question something, they go shake your hand or touch you in a certain way and then can reset you. Do you know what I mean? Because you're profane. You don't know what the fuck they're doing. You see what I mean? And that's how it is.
And now all my little brothers they learn this for 10 years, 5 years, 6 years.
See, they learn all this.
Now all my little a heiress or a very rich girl, yeah, and he was like hypnotizing her to, you know, to fall in love with him and that, you know what I mean? But that's a fucking true case, and he come to Norwich, you know what I mean? Again,
see, that's me talking about it there, yeah. So that's a master grip of a true master mason. Watch it, yeah. You'll learn how fast they can put you in a grip. Listen,
you've got one person reinforcing this, okay? But imagine if just
so
he's still getting that grip on him, look. Yeah, that grip, right? You ain't sure about it, go research it. You know what I mean? See if I'm talking shit. But watch this, look. While they were gripping him and, you know, putting him under that hypnosis, he's now back in the van, look. He's back in.
See, they put him in that pod, look. See, they put him in that pod, and he think he went to space or whatever. But watch when he wakes up, listen.
The pod, then they putting the pod back into where he was originally, okay? Now listen, and here he is, he's back to where he was right in the beginning, okay? So all what he just went through in that apocalypse, right, he doesn't even remember it, look, listen.
It's Dr. Knapp, wakey, wakey. How are you doing?
Sorry, I'm just a little confused.
Okay.
Why am I still here?
Why are you still here? You're in the sleep pod.
I'm trying to remember what happened.
Hear that? I'm trying to remember what happened. But again, you've got one person reinforcing this, okay? But imagine if another doctor comes in, yeah?
And that's the thing. See, you believe the white uniform, you believe the police uniform, you believe the social service uniform. Do you see what I mean? It don't matter what it is. You can have guys, yeah, that in work uniforms, you know, with a yellow vest. They're digging holes, right? Yeah. And you look at them and you think, oh, they're just workmen. But no, it's more than likely freak masons doing something. Do you see what I mean? And they're not workmen. They come as anything they fucking want, and they hide their Masonic aprons. Do you see what I mean? But this is what this is what I keep trying to show people, and people don't believe. They go, oh, whatever, don't talk shit. But here it is, you know, they did it on a program, you know. So I'm like, yes, you know, they're showing us for once. They're showing us. But again, because it's a magic show, They think only magicians can do it. No, Freemasons are magicians. They learn this, yeah, and this is what they do within the community to you. You know, when you're having a pub, especially when you're in the pub having a drink, yeah, because then your psyche has gone down, if you know what I mean. Your resistance, you know, to mind games goes down. So you know you're more. What they call that, I can't remember what the bloody word is. Sorry, my profane friends. You know, you're more susceptible to, you know, that NLP going under hypnosis. But there ain't just one Freemason that'll be doing it. You'll have one on the left, maybe, and one on the right, and one in front of you. Do you know what I mean? And then they'll give the commands or the touches, and then they'll put you under. They'll do it in a toilet or whatever. It doesn't matter where the fuck it is, but they'll put you under. Do you see what I mean? And you think they're your mates. They're fucking not. And they're fucking practicing on you. Do you know what I mean? These hypnosis maneuvers, you know, as they rise up through the ranks of Freemasonry, they're doing that, you know.
And a nurse.
But the nurse...
Do you see what I mean? Awesome. But they're Freemasons, of course. Do you know what I mean? Eastern Star. Some shit like that. Oh, wait a minute. You've just seen it. You've got a doctor there. She's not even a doctor. Do you see what I'm saying to you? Yeah? Anyone can wear a fucking white coat and you put your trust in them. Do you see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Why am I still here?
Why are you still here? You're in the sleep pod.
I'm trying to remember what happened. It just seemed like so real. I didn't think it was a dream.
See? And there you go. I didn't think...
Now, the thing is, he could have been raped, yeah, or anything, like a little child, whatever, and that's just a dream script. Oh, you had a nightmare. Do you see what I mean? You know, do you see what I mean? These are the things that people don't realise what these Freemasons do, you know, and you think you're crazy about it, but it ain't. It's nothing to do with that, you know. I don't know if I'll find it in my history. Let's see, view all. Let me just see if I can find it, yeah, this video, yeah. I don't, you know, oh, there she is. Is this it? No, keep drinking alcohol, that ain't the one, sorry. Wait a minute, just bear with me a minute, because if I can find it, if not, I'll upload it and I'll do it that way. Okay, my profane friends. But she's talking about, you know, her dad. Now I think it might even be. Let's try this one. No. Let me have a look. I watch so many videos, but I do keep a lot of them. Do you know what I mean? And I'm sure it was on this, like this podcast thing. Right there. No. No. If I can find it, I will upload it with this, just to show and prove a point. But it was a lady, yeah, where her dad was a Freemason. He was on about, you know, where he used to take the dummy, you know, because she took the dummy, then she would take that, you know what I mean? And he bragged it to her, sort of thing, you know, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know where that video is. Now, normally I'd not download it, so let me just try and see if I can find it. Yeah, because it is here, and you know me, if I don't find